I'm going to come back to Kim right now, again, who has just a storied reputation in the world of education. And Kim, Sean and Andrea were talking about the great need for our schools and our educational system to embrace the idea of art. You, as perhaps the premier educator in the district right now, she's a humble lady, but I'm telling you, she's the best in the business. We've watched up close and personal her work for many, many years, and she's impacted the lives of many, many children. Give us your thoughts about, their comments about the great need for arts in the school system.
I definitely agree. And I say that because all of our children are born with gifts, every single one of them. And when we stick on this topic of the achievement gap and test scores, we alienate those that have these special gifts with art. And many times they can express their understanding of content and have certain skills when they're allowed to incorporate the arts in their learning. So it includes all children when you bring arts into the schools. We talk about in education differentiated instruction and the many ways that we can instruct our students so that all students are learning. But there's also differentiated assessments, which means children are allowed to show what they have learned and what they know through different means, like art. I have students right now working on National History Day competitions, and so many of them chose to do the documentary. And the competition is not until June, but I gave them a due date of February 20, it was last week, February 22nd or something like that. And just so that we can work on it and do the edits and all of that. And they brought them in, and I was just in tears because they're 7th graders, 12-year-olds, and literally these documentaries look like your level. But I mean, they were phenomenal, and I mean a wide range of different topics. But they're allowed to bring their artistic abilities into the classroom. We have so many different projects that I allow my students to choose from. That's the other piece. The choice is so important. So art is very important. We have musical geniuses. They learn through music. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I tell my students all the time, I learned early on, before she was 1, that she's a musical genius. She learned, how the phonics. She learned everything through music. And I saw that. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Reading about it is one thing, but actually seeing it in front of you is another. So there's so many different ways, epistemological styles, learning styles that incorporate the arts. And we have to have it. We have to.
You,
if we're serious.
you talk just for a moment about the school where you teach. Mm-hmm. Just for a moment about that, mm-hmm. and then tell us about your incredible journey to South Africa.
Oh, wow. Okay. I teach at Howard University, Public Charter Middle School of Mathematics and Science. It's on the campus of Howard University in the old Human Ecology building across from Founders Library. We've been in existence since 2005. It's a public charter school, so we do not select our students. Our students come from all over Washington, D.C., and they score off the charts. And they're happy, and they're loved, and we go above and beyond for them. And it's a math and science. It's a STEM school. I teach history.
You say STEM, and
okay, I'm sorry. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have an abundance of technology in our building. And we have a phenomenal math and science program there, honors programs.
So let me challenge you here, because mm-hmm. If we look at the news mm-hmm. and we read the newspapers, mm-hmm. there's not any school like that. That's not what inner city kids are doing, mm-hmm. going to schools like mm-hmm. that, science, mm-hmm. technology. That's not really happening, is it?
Well, now it is, but I would.
I'm being facetious because I'm just talking about, mm-hmm. Typically and stereotypically mm-hmm. how inner city kids are portrayed in the media.
Right.
And what you're talking about here is an absolute defiance of that.
Definitely, definitely. And our founder, Dr. Hassan Minor, this was his vision. He went to MIT and he said he wanted a program in Washington, D.C., and served this as a model for other inner city populations around the country. He wanted to expose our students to mathematics, science, technology, engineering. And he did whatever he could to bring this school to Washington, D.C. And again, we serve all of the students in D.C. We do not select our students. But since then, we opened up in 2005, and we were, I would say, the innovators in that initiative. But since then, there are other schools that have, I think there is a high school called Math and Science. I can't think of the full name. But there are other schools that, and other programs that may not be specific to STEM programs, other schools are now incorporating it. It's been a mandate of the Obama administration as well.
And how, the Obama administration, which Kim is a regular visitor down at the White House these days. Here's how I wanted to tie this together. What Andrea and Sean would Kim's students get from viewing the film that you won the Oscar for?
I think first they can relate to Innocente, because you don't have a lot of films where a 15-year-old kid looks you directly in the lens and tells you how they feel. I feel, this is not a slice of the population you hear a great deal about, and about what it is to go through hardships that she has. I think that they would get a great deal out of watching someone that they can relate to just tell it like it is, but what she's been through, and then I think be inspired by the choices that she's making.
Yeah, I mean, what we find, all our films are about kids, like kids around that age, and they all kids don't ever have a voice. Like, they're always like experts talking about kids, and so we found, I mean, I'm always surprised that kids like watching our films, because like they're documentaries, and I think, well, maybe they're not action-packed enough or something, but kids, like, they love watching other kids talk. Like, they love hearing what another kid has to say, and that a kid is on that screen. The way we film them, they're looking right in the lens, so it's like their story.
Yeah.
No one else is telling their story.
Kim, I follow your career largely through Facebook, and have been so fascinated about your sojourn to South Africa and the revelations that you have shared with your time in South Africa. What took you there? What was your mission? And what has been the impact?
Okay. Well, actually, it's the universe conspiring in my favor. I believe that completely, because I did not plan to go to South Africa. I actually met the chair of fundraising for a school in South Africa. He was told that he needed to speak to me. They have a math and science school in South Africa. And I said, okay. I'm a history teacher, but okay. And I sat and I spoke with him for 3 hours in Dr. Greg Carr's office, Howard University's campus. And he began to tell me about their school in South Africa. It's called Leap Science and Math School. And he was telling me about a program, a class that the students take every day called Life Orientation. And it was a class that allowed the students to share their voice, empower themselves in a country just at that time, 17 years out of apartheid being ended, but still not having a voice, still being oppressed to this day. And so this class allows them to, first of all, encourages them. First, they needed that encouragement to speak. But then after that, it's something that they all buy into. They share their experiences. They hold each other accountable. And then that transfers into classes. Is very empowering. And so I'm writing down about this program, and he stopped me and he said, come to my school. Come to my school. And I said, okay. And then I didn't really believe him, but that night, he said, I have a ticket for you. You're coming. Can you take off 2 months? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm a teacher. And I went over there. And so for 2 summers, I've spent my 2 months off teaching in South Africa at these schools. They have in Cape Town, Johannesburg, Limpopo, Pretoria, and they service students from the townships who experience unbelievable poverty, violence.
I was going to ask you if you had visited Soweto while you were there.
I did, yeah.
I was in Soweto in 1993, and I went back in 2005, and still there were huts that didn't have floors. There was no such thing as electricity running through those places or running water. How is it now?
So different parts of Soweto, there are parts where there are houses with, running water and everything. And then there's still the township areas where the shanty houses. So it's definitely, it just depends in Soweto. But then if you have Langa in Cape Town, shanty houses.
And people here have no idea of the frame of reference when you use the word poverty.
No.
Explain poverty South Africa and what folks don't understand here when they say poverty.
Well, I believe, our homeless population does understand here in America, does understand that type of poverty. Where they have homes in their shanty homes, there's no running water, there's no electricity, there's no flooring. There's shared bathrooms in the township outside of their homes.
It's just when I go beyond our borders, oftentimes I feel like, my God, if everybody could just travel more and understand how blessed we really are.
But they know how blessed they are. They do. They know how blessed they are. And they get up at the crack of dawn to make it to the bus stop on time because the bus driver will not stop if you're late. You will be held accountable. And if you don't make it, they run to school. They'll walk to school, however far away it is. But that next day, they'll be there. We had to do homestays, so I stayed with many of the students of the school. And there were times, my American ways would come out, and I'd say, please stop the bus. He's coming. He's coming. No, he will learn. He will be here tomorrow on time. And the next day, they would be there on time.
Kim, thank you so much for coming in studio.